Okay, so I want to show you the Curve Master. We're going to use the Curve Master to eliminate all the issues with pinning. So let's take a look at the Curve Master. The Curve Master, this is the package that it comes in, and you're going to get a package like this. I've taken the foot out. The foot is the Curve Master foot. These adapters are if you've got an old Singer, an old Kenmore, an industrial machine, a machine that's not universal. Universal machines are Janome, New Home, Elna, Baby Lot, Brother, New White, New Kenmore, New Singer, New Jukies. Those are all snap-ons. Viking, although it's not universal, this does snap onto there. If you have a FUF, you're going to need to use the adapter number 1. And remember, I sell an adapter that's metal, that is the adapter number 1 that turns it into a snap-on, a universal machine. And if you're a Bernina owner, then you need one of the Bernina adapters. There's about 6 adapters out there. There are 2 that I recommend, and I sell those 2 because I don't want you to have to worry about whether you got the right one or not. So the foot comes like this. You can see from the side, this part here sticks down a little bit. Basically, the way the Curve Master works is that you normally, when you're doing curves, is you're fighting the feed dogs. You have 2 feed dogs. But because of this bottom part, this, if I can get my fingers to work, this guy here, it's all uneven down here. We're basically faking out 1 feed dog. So we only have 1 feed dog in gear. And I've gone in and colored this part right here with the red Sharpie. Red seems to work best. Basically, we're going to keep our fabric right along that edge. So I've got the foot on, and the other thing I've done is made sure that my needle is center. Now on a Janome machines, when you put a non-Janome foot on, that needle doesn't sit center. So I moved the needle to 1.5. That makes it center. I'm going to put the needle down so you can see. Can you see that needle perfectly in the center there? So make sure on your sewing machine that your needle is in the center. We're going to take our 2 pieces of fabric, and normally we'd pin, and then we'd ease. Easing is pulling a little bit, then we'd have to clip all those curves. With the Curve Master foot, you don't need to pin. We're going to let the foot do the work for us. The easing, we don't really need to ease anymore. The fabric's just going to go right along in my fingers, you'll see in a minute. And then the clipping. If I did have a fold here and I had those longer ribbon pieces, then I might have to do some clipping. But most of the time with a curve that's this gradual, you don't have to do a lot of clipping. Those curves are going to lay out flat. But again, on another foot, another style, you would be doing clipping. So I'm going to line up my 2 pieces of fabric. I'm going to put my needle down into the fabric, and I'm going right along that edge of the red, that Sharpie mark that I have here. And I'm just going to take a couple stitches. Slow and steady wins the race, and the same thing with short stitches. You can do a short stitch length. I'm actually going to put it to like a 2.2 or 2.3, 2.5, somewhere around there. So basically this bottom piece is going to be treated as a straight. You can see how straight that looks when I'm looking at this. It's the top piece that we want to work with, and I'm just going to lift this up. When I lift this up, that just kind of keeps the fabric right along that edge, and my eyes are on the red. If you watch the needles, I'm going to be saying in your head, yeah, good luck with that. Not. It's going to be harder to do. You won't have success if you're watching the needle. That's why we've gone in and marked that Sharpie with the red, or marked the foot with the red Sharpie. As I go to stitch, again, I'm just going to go nice and slow, and you can see I'm paying attention right here to that bottom fabric, and I'm still watching that top fabric too, and I just want to keep it right along that edge. We've got a 1/4 inch built in. If I wanted a scant 1/4 inch, I could actually move my needle over a little bit. The foot isn't very big, so I can't move it a whole lot. But again, I'm just going to go right along that edge, just kind of taking my time and just letting that foot do the work for me. That foot is going to keep all those edges together for me consistently. Now, I didn't grab the tweezers. I should have tweezers, so when I get right to about here, I'd be pulling my layers together. So we're going to pretend that I've got tweezers in my hand, and I've got those tweezers. You can see I'm kind of forcing this here. When I stitch right to that edge, those tweezers would help you join those pieces up. So we're going to take this out and take a look at it. It's hard to see on this surface that we've got, but basically when we look at that, we can see I've got a nice curve. And we would go to the sewing, or go to the ironing board. Let me put the needle up and see if we can get that laid out a little bit better for you. We'd go to the ironing board and we'd give that a good press, and that lays out nice and consistent. Doesn't have a lot of waste here that I've got to trim up. We are going to do a little bit of trimming on your blocks, but you can see we've got a nice consistent curve. That's the Curve Master.